And good morning. This is Hal Ginsberg, and you are listening to Halitics. This is on Facebook today because I couldn't live stream directly to YouTube, but I will start tomorrow on the Halitics channel. And it is a call-in show. This is not just about me. This is a live YouTube stream today, though, of course, on Facebook. And just at the Hal Ginsberg Morning Show group page, I'm taking it slow. And some would say you shouldn't even start, Hal. Why are you starting now? You didn't take enough time to plan. You haven't written everything out. It's far from perfect. So why are you going live today? And the answer is because if I waited till it was perfect or even really good, it would never happen. I am the kind of person who learns by doing. So by doing this live stream, hopefully every day, Monday through Friday, most days, I'll take time off now and then. I'll get better and better at it. My audience will grow. But this is a very, very, very soft launch. I really haven't promoted it. I did some testing on Sunday with great Monterey friends, Fred and Arlen, and I thank you guys. You gave me a lot of help, a lot of support. I think we're going now. I think we're live. I know Peter was was watching, but he couldn't hear. I think I got it worked out, Peter Gacy. I hope so. You're you're listening to Halitics Live, and we're going to try to do this 11 to noon, Monday through Friday, East Coast time. So that would be Pacific, 8 to 9. And I actually kind of did it that way because, I know I have a lot of listeners, viewers. The people who are most likely to tune in are the ones who are in Monterey because they remember me. Some of you guys remember me from my program from 2005 to 2014. I told Arlen, I told Fred, that was the best time of my life. I love doing that. Well, it was the best time professionally. It was tough. I wasn't with my family. I missed that, of course, a lot. But in terms of doing something I loved, I have never found anything quite to match. I really anything even close. I'm going to play a little bit with my video settings. This is kind of a learning experience for me right now. And you can see I actually put on the wall some of my most proud moments from being out there on the beautiful Central Coast, my awards from the Monterey Herald and not Herald. Wow, I wish I'd be nice. No, Monterey Weekly, which is also something I'm very, very, very proud of. And there's a nice caricature that was done of me as well. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but just thought I'd throw it in. I hope you can hear me. It does show there's audio output capture moving up and down. I want to make sure it's going both monitor and, it's going output. So I'm going to assume that means you can hear me. I need to check one other setting, but I'm going to guess you are hearing me. And we'll actually do the output too, just in case. So 240-283-7262 if you want to try to join me. This is a kind of an experiment. You're kind of my guinea pigs right now, and I'm your guinea pig. We're going to try to grow together, do this together. We are facing an absolute existential threat, probably the greatest challenge humans have ever faced. And I'm not saying we haven't faced other ones, but the human-caused climate catastrophe has to be right at the top. And I think that was, the argument, right, for we have to elect Joe Biden because Trump is so bad when it comes. If we want to save the planet, let's put it that way. If we want to save the planet, if you want to save the planet, you got to vote for Donald Trump. You got to vote against Donald Trump. If you want to save the planet, it wasn't even vote for Joe Biden. It was you got to vote against Donald Trump. And I'm not going to say that was wrong exactly. What I'm going to say is I don't think electing Joe Biden was the answer. I don't think the any blue will do solution is the answer. Some blues are better than other blues, and on balance, blue may be less bad than red. But look at that headline. This is more drilling in the Arctic. And the last thing we should be doing is drilling. Who made the U.S. the #1 exporter? He bragged about it. He bragged about it in the Carlyle Group because they were paying him hundreds of thousands of dollars. the former President Obama. So we don't have allies when it comes to climate crisis in Washington right now. Is a squad our ally? They voted for Hakeem Jeffries to be the majority leader, the Democratic minority leader, to take over from Nancy Pelosi. No one is less of an ally to progressives in the Democratic Congress. Hakeem gets his funding from Wall Street and AIPAC. Those are the two organizations, the two institutes, whatever you want to call them, that are most generous to the current Democratic minority leader. I don't know how we can view that as some kind of an upgrade. We have got to figure out, folks, a better way than simply going back and forth like a ping pong ball between Democrats and Republicans, neither of whom is on your side. That's what this program is going to be about. We're going to sit here and we're going to try to figure solutions out as we move forward. Again, you can see the phone numbers right there on the screen, 240-283-7262. A little rocky this morning. Tomorrow we'll be on YouTube, and we're going to get better and better at this. When you're on YouTube, click subscribe, click like on my videos. You can also check out my website, halginsberg.com. I'm going to hopefully get these videos up there too. And I do want to see, let's see, are we actually right now being heard on Facebook? I know my friend Peter, and he has not commented, so I'm not sure whether he can see this or not. I'm going to give it a test. Okay, so let's see if I can hear myself now. Give it a, there you go. Did you hear that double? You may not have. But what I'm telling you is it does quite now appear that we're live. And maybe no one's listening. So that's the old question, right? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it make a sound? And that's like me talking into the atmosphere, talking into my headset. Are you hearing me? Does it mean anything? Well, let's hope it does, because Halitics is a little different than every other program out there. We're more about solutions. We're taking your live calls. That's basically dead, right? Live talk radio. I know Tom Hartman is out there, and I guess Stephanie Miller and a few other progressives and the right wingers are out there, but it's pretty much done, right? Talk radio is pretty much done. This is not an attempt to resuscitate that format. This is an attempt to move into the 21st century using YouTube, using internet technology, to be able to live stream a show where we routinely talk to you. We're going to do interviews. It's not going to be just about me talking. It's going to be a lot of listening. And that is what this program is. You hear a lot about the uncomfortable conversation. Now you hear me. Am I woke? Because we're supposed to have those uncomfortable conversations if we're woke. We're supposed to talk to folks who are members of identity groups that don't have it so good, that don't have it as good as, I guess, like my identity group, right? Because like I'm a white man, straight, cisgender. So we need to have those uncomfortable conversations. And I'll tell you right up front, I consider myself to be privileged, not because I'm a white cisgender male, but because I come from an affluent background. I have a really good education. I'm very, very fortunate. To me, that is more than anything else what makes me privileged. And if you want to have those uncomfortable conversations, let's have them. But they've got to be a back and forth. We've got to be willing to listen to people who we maybe have said in the past aren't. And you just heard that thing. I got to plug this sucker in or I'm going to lose you. There we go. So let's talk a little bit. I'm going to get to a couple of issues, but let's talk about some uncomfortable conversations here. One, and I just brought it up. Are we on the left? Are we progressives doing enough to rein in the Democratic Party, to come up with solutions to our problems. Because obviously, as you can see from that screen, Biden administration allows controversial Arctic oil project to proceed. We're not doing enough. If we're going to open up vast new swaths, if our president, the guy that, we all said, hey, well, Bernie's great and all, but he can't beat Biden. So we got to elect Biden because anything's better than Trump. Any blue will do. And that guy is going to just go ahead and allow the exploitation of, I don't know how many. Let's see if 600 million barrels of oil from a fragile ecosystem. And it says here, we're trying to, and I know I'm going up an elevator rotate. Environmental advocates are calling on Biden to block a final permit. Well, he's already green lighted it temporarily. So we'll see. Maybe he'll do the right thing. Let's hope so. Pristine, relatively now. Nothing's pristine on this planet anymore after the hand of humans. But we're getting to a place here in the Arctic that has been relatively unscathed to date. And it looks like the Biden administration is going to let it get scathed. And it's very, very, very upsetting. So I don't know if you can read that. I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you. The Biden administration cleared the way Wednesday, that's actually a few weeks ago, for a controversial Arctic oil pipeline project, recommending that drilling proceed in an undeveloped section of the Alaskan tundra. Is this a solution? Is this any blue will do crowd saying that's fine? It's okay. It's okay. It's better than Trump. It ain't better. It's not better because we're destroying our planet. That ain't better. And even though it says here, the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, said we should move with a slightly more limited footprint, they're saying just as much oil. ConocoPhillips gets just as much out of the ground as they were hoping to before. This is not progress, folks. This is not progress. All right, let's go to another really important story. I think not progress. And then, let's talk a little bit, if we can, about and let's see, why am I not seeing this right? This is not the way I wanted this to look. But you can see Medea there. You definitely can. And she is at the Rage Against the War Machine rally. So Medea Benjamin, friend of mine. And you may remember she was on Peter B. Collins' show quite a bit. This was Sunday in DC. And I posted about this rally. The only thing that I can say against it is I didn't know about it. There was virtually no. It was, was there embargoed? I don't know. But I didn't know anything about it. Why didn't I? What was happening, folks? Why weren't we told about it? Because I sure wasn't. I didn't know nothing about this rally. Let me go back to a different. Yeah, there we go. So we'll have this stream, and I had a different look for this. And again, we're just, I remember Coach always said, welcome to the, what was it? Welcome to the rehearsal, I guess, or the tests. And that's what this kind of is. We're going to get it better and better. And I'm doing it. I'm going to say this again, because if I didn't do it in this fashion, in a rocky manner, that's far from perfect, I won't do it at all. I do need your help, 240-283-7262. 3 stories today. So at the rally, and why do I do this? There are some hosts I really like. Because at the rally, you had some great American patriots. This is obviously, let's get those peace talks going. So Medea Benjamin from Code Pink, she's there. Jimmy Dore, and he does a great video cast. I don't always agree with Jimmy. I think any blue will do is not true. Any blue will not do. But Jimmy's attitude is that no blue will do. And I get it. I get why he says that. I want an alternative. We need an alternative. We're not going to get where we need to get with just the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. We need alternatives. But that said, as bad as the Democrats have been, and as disappointing as the squad has been, every single squad member voting for Hakeem Jeffries, who's completely all in for this war on Ukraine, as bad as that is, as bad as that every last one of them voted for the Pentagon budget. And it's incredibly bad. It doesn't mean they're quite at the same level as the Republicans. I get the argument. The argument is if they're going to be that way, then people will turn to the Republicans. And they do, right? I mean, that's why we have perhaps the Republican ascendancy. That's why we have Republicans in control of the House of Representatives, because the Democrats are so, because they don't stand with working people at all. Because on some issues, for working Americans, the Republican Party is better. The Republican Party has been better on trade lately. The Republican Party, frankly, has been better on war. They are talking right now, at least a bit, about cutting back funding for the Pentagon and slashing across the board budgets, which is not a good idea. But given the budget deficits, it's understandable why they're saying it. If the Democrats want to push back, if the Democrats want to prevent Republicans from winning, they have got to come up with better solutions, which means taxing the wealthy, cutting back budget for war, making peace, and fighting for poor, struggling, working Americans across the board. Because they don't do that, that's why we have a somewhat ascendant Republic. That's why we have Trump. So we cannot pretend it's only the Republican Party that's the problem. The Republicans and the Democrats are engaged in an ugly dance, pas de deux. We need to add a third party minimum, and there is a third party out there we should be supporting, and that's the Green Party, to the extent we possibly can. So I get where Doar is coming from. But that said, for him to insist that the Democrats are just as bad, I don't agree with that. And he doesn't talk enough about solutions. I love Brianna Joy Gray. She's the best current live streamer, video host, whatever you want to call it, out there. I don't know if she does live streams right now. She's the best one out there, Brianna Joy Gray. She's not enough. One's not enough. And even with her, we have our disagreements. Not a lot to some. And neither she nor Jimmy does nearly enough live. They're not talking to you. I'm talking to you. That's why we're doing this, because your voice matters. 240-283-7262. All right. So I want to give you one more story, because I sometimes am not into it with woke folk. I think my biggest issue with the woke movement, there's several. I don't like the cancel culture. I think there are times when there's absolutely legitimate discussions to be had about various issues, and there's way too much cancellation. Canceling J.K. Rowling is just absurd. I'm not going to get into all the debates about it, but there was a story in the Washington Post the other day, which I'm not going to show you that because I didn't get it ready for you, about how the right wing is demagoguing trans issues. And it's ugly and it's wrong. And they're killing people because young trans children are going through tremendous challenges. And to have those challenges, roadblocks thrown in the way of any potential solution to their problems is wrong. And that's what the right wing is trying to do. The Republicans are trying to do in every way possible. Now, they demagogue this issue because the Democrats don't stand with poor, struggling, working Americans. They're voting for these demagogues because we're not fighting on the left hard enough for, steadfastly enough for, because we show contempt for poor, struggling, working people. They are voting for demagogues. They are voting for right-wing populists, authoritarian populists, rather than Democratic progressive populists and Democratic socialists, if there aren't any even out there. But because of that, we are seeing attacks on people based on their identity. And we're also seeing, obviously, a rollback of rights that we've taken for granted for 50 plus years, like the right to choice, or for 50 years, right? Roe v. Wade, I think 1973, 50 years later, it's gone. And this is going to cost people's lives too. A story in the Washington Post yesterday about a family in Florida that can't afford to go to a northern state and have an abortion. It's illegal there under any circumstances, but in the case of the mother's health or rape. And in this case, the mother's health is not endangered, but the child is profoundly disabled, profoundly challenged, and will die shortly after birth, is not going to survive. But she cannot have the procedure that she wants, the mom, that for what it's worth, the husband wants, that for what it's worth, the doctors are recommending. They cannot do it or risk imprisonment in the Sunshine State. This is what happens when Democrats don't fight for working people. Republicans are elected. Republicans nominate extreme right-wing justices. So if you care about identity politics, if you care about cultural issues, if you care about social issues, prioritize poor, struggling, working people at every opportunity when it comes to politics. All right, one more quickly, I want to show this tweet. And this is from another politician. Well, I said another, but Medea is not a politician. Kristen Mink is a great Montgomery County Council member. She just got elected, and she is letting us know about these Proud Boys. And I have tried to be somewhat understanding of some of the populist or on the right, some organizations. I know Jimmy has been defending the Boogaloo Boys, and I think they're a complex organization. They're complicated. They don't stand for one particularly pernicious idea or another, unlike the Proud Boys, who are without question fascist. And here they are in Montgomery County, Maryland, very progressive, trying to break up one of the drag queen story hours. Now, I don't understand that, honestly. Why do you care? Honestly, you don't bring your kids. If you don't like the idea of seeing a man dressed as a woman or a woman dressed as a man, because I'm pretty certain these, and I shouldn't call them drag queen, they're drag story hours, because they're not just for men who are wearing traditionally female clothing or, princess outfits, or they're also for women who are going to be dressed wearing what men would traditionally be, would be considered garb for them. If you don't like that, fine. Don't go. Don't take your kids. What do you have to break up what is a good time for other people? Why? Why are you so angry? Now, some of it is human nature. There's a lot of anger out there because of the abandonment by government of poor, struggling, working people. And they are looking for solutions. And some of those solutions are really bad. They're not solutions at all. But if we don't want that to happen, we've got to be on the side of workers, poor people, of struggling people everywhere. All right, this is Halitics. That's going to do it for me. I'm hoping to talk to you tomorrow. I'll be on YouTube. I'm going to keep doing this, and you're going to have to start calling in because I can't just carry this. Sorry for the glitches. Sorry for the technical issues. But again, I'm doing it now, even though it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect, because if I wait until this is perfect, it'll never happen. And it will only get better and better if I keep doing it. So thank you so much for the first live stream. And let me go back, because this is my first story, and I just want you to see it. This is why I'm doing this, folks. We can't let any press. We got to stand up to every all power. It always corrupts. It's always going to do harm. And you can see it right here. Biden administration allows it to allow. We'll see. Maybe they'll stop it. We've got to figure out a way, folks, to elect leaders who are truly responsible to us, to the environment. And that's only going to happen again if we're doing it. We have, well, I was going to say working people, but working people, a lot of them are going to support this project. It does mean more jobs and better paid jobs. We've got to also, and this is the second ultimate necessity, we've got to greatly reduce income and wealth inequality. All right, folks, I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for everything. Thanks for watching, and thanks for support.